My name is Alex Salazar. I'm with RenegadePopo.com here with Don Jefferis in the city of
Seven Hills.
Seven Hills. All right, and how far are we from Cleveland?
It's roughly 10 miles south of Cleveland.
10 miles.
Yeah.
Okay. And Don, basically, I came in here to do a little bit of washing yesterday, and somehow we got on the discussion of what I do
Right.
and the type of work that I'm involved in.
hmm
And as we were talking about police brutality in general, I mentioned to you, out of the blue, a very terrible shooting that occurred in California,
hmm
the Ernesto Duenez
Correct.
shooting. And what did you say?
Well, I had just happened to have watched the video of the shooting. Um, it was part of a compilation of police shootings, and it was one that I had remembered. I remember the name, and
Right, I was surprised you actually
right,
knew the name.
right.
Uh-huh.
It was so
And you described the shooting too.
right. It was so egregious and tragic and heartrendingly sad. Um, and it struck me. And this was like I said, a compilation of a number of police shootings. And it struck me afterwards. In all the shootings, the behavior of the officers involved is the same, and they always approach uh, shouting, hands up, show me hands, and and uh, and I just had some thoughts yesterday that I know this is police training, and uh, and the intention is to intimidate the suspect and to show to provide a show of force so that there's less chance of fight or flight. And that is the rationale behind this, having a number of officers there and having them really show out, hands up, hands up. And he was shouting, the one officer was shouting Ernesto's first name, as soon as he showed up. And my feeling about this is, first of all, as adults, I don't know about you, but I'm sure that as an adult, you most of us have not been yelled at as adults. We have not been yelled at. You're yelled at as kids, perhaps, but as adults, you're not yelled at. So yelling at an adult to get them to comply may not be the best way to get them to comply, because there's something in you as a man. There's something in you as a man that says, you know, who's yelling at me? And so you right away you don't want to comply because you're being yelled at as if you're a child or as if you're not even human. And so
Right.
that struck me as perhaps a tactic that police are taught and that they use that may be counterproductive.
Right.
There's just something in you. You don't want to. You just don't want to comply. Um,
But that
and
can get you killed too,
It can
obviously.
get you killed. Yes, it can get you killed. Um, but you can understand it now. And there's also the shock thing. Is someone not responding as the police want, out of shock, out of fear, out of anger? Um, I don't know if most people haven't had a gun pointed at them. I have, and I know that the visceral reaction it has in you, it's something almost surreal. You don't know what to do when a gun is pointed in your direction. You don't know what to do. You get a rush of adrenaline, and you know what to do. So there's that as well, and and also that shouting on the part of the police. It's a tension-filled situation to begin with. Adrenaline is flowing, but having the officers shouting, I think, will drive themselves into an even greater state of agitation and shut down their rational thinking processes and put everything on uh, a fear fear-based, more fear-based, and less rational-based behavior, which is not what you want in a tension-filled situation already. You would like some thought, but it's all reaction. Get your hands up! Get your hands up! Get your hands up! Get your hands up! And then boom, 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 and it's over. And you don't have intentions to kill, you hope.
Right.
And I don't think there are intentions to kill, but everything is driven down that highway by the way that it's all set up. You know, why, unless this person was a mass murderer with a truckload of guns loaded and ready to be used, why would you want to approach him in that way? You know, is this one of the cartel members that you're after, and you know he's got 20 guns behind him? I mean, where was the imperative to act that way? I didn't see the imperative to approach him that way. I just don't see it.
Very interesting.
I don't see it. And then you have mistaken addresses, you mistaken shootings, and we had that egregious case in Cleveland. Over 130 bullets fired at 2 people in a gun, and the whole incident started from a backfire from a car. 2 unarmed people being chased. Now, you say, well, they ran from the police. Well, given all of the instances of police misconduct and mistakes, would you stop? I mean, there's a lot of reasons why black people, Hispanic people, don't stop. There are a lot of reasons why they don't. And there are a lot of, there's ingrained racism fueling some of the behavior, if not a lot of the behavior.
Right. Now, you're saying that as a white male.
As a white male, yeah.
Did you grow up here in Cleveland?
I grew up in Broadview Heights, outside of Cleveland. It's a suburb, southwest suburb.
So,
of Cleveland.
so you're very well in tune with the, I guess, the way how people are here then.
Right. The suburban upbringing, and racism is part of the culture. The nomination and the election of Barack Obama seemed to cause an upwelling of anger and racism in many, many whites. I've heard more racist comments since his nomination and election than I had in the previous 40 years.
And it's your belief that that has occurred because he's black.
Oh, I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
You know,
it's
people
because
are.
he's black.
You know, people never thought that a black man could actually become president.
Right.
And
right.
and now there's this fallout from all this.
There's and it can be hard to understand. On the one hand, whites. On the one hand, his election, it was a milestone. It was a watershed event in American history. But it seemed that many whites, once he was elected, said, all right, shit, we got a black president. I guess that proves there's no racism. Therefore, I'm free to act racist and to say racist things. It's like, what the hell are you thinking? What? I had one.
Yeah, because people used to stay quiet about it. They wouldn't say anything.
Yes.
And like you said, people would say, oh, you're racist.
Right. And now it seems like
it's come out of the woodwork.
Right. I had a customer in here, was a drop-off customer, and this is maybe 3 years ago. He was a retired steel worker, I think. And I was making conversation. I said something about Obama. Whatever had been in the news about him that week. You know, I see Obama did this. And he's like, Obama? He's like, Obama!
Mm-hmm.
Obama! I can't stand Obama. Somebody ought to assassinate Obama. And I'm like, what the? And he had told me he was going to a Tea Party meeting in Pennsylvania.
Well, that says it all.
And I'm like, we're not for the fact that he was elderly. I knew he was a heart transplant patient. He was on his second heart. I mean, if he had been a 35-year-old white guy, I would have called the local FBI office. But I didn't think he was a threat. I didn't think he. I think he meant that, but I didn't think he would follow through on that. But that's the kind of thing you get. And I've had Democratic voters or people who I knew or told me were Democrats that were hateful towards Obama because they wanted Hillary to win it. And they just had one older white woman say, he's he's something about his intelligence. Oh, he's not even intelligent. He's just so dumb. I said, but John McCain is intelligent though, right? He doesn't know the difference between a Sunni and a Shiite. But
I don't know either.
but it's amazing. But you're not running for president,
right? Okay.
Nor am I. And but the level of hatred in this country was really shown. It seems like we're moving backwards rather than forwards.
Right, and a lot of people are saying that. Going to the present day, I attended the funeral yesterday of Tamir Rice, the little 12-year-old boy that was shot, and I guess it came out yesterday after I left that the police officer was in fact forced to resign from the Independence Police Department. Did you hear about that?
I had not heard that yet.
Okay,
no.
that's new news because he had emotional problems and issues with handling a weapon.
Oh boy.
And so that's out all of the woodwork. But my concern here is that this family that lost this 12-year-old has been demonized,
right?
And they've been attacked in the media. They've been castigated for, I guess, having been arrested or having criminal records or a past. But my question is, what does that have to do with a 12-year-old?
A 12-year-old shooting.
And have you seen that
I saw the video
vitriol that's going on?
I saw the video of the incident, and my thoughts are, it's a 12-year-old kid. Well, first of all, if you the police apparently were not given the information that it was probably a toy gun and probably a juvenile, but just based on the behavior, if you get a report of someone with a gun, it just seemed the whole thing just seemed so poorly executed in terms of police work. If you know someone has a gun, and you have reason to believe that there's a chance that they might use it, why would you pull up on them within 10 feet, putting both you and your partner in danger, and perhaps instigating behavior that might not have been there? That's one. And secondly, why wouldn't you want to just kind of take a look at the situation first and see? I don't know. The video isn't clear enough to see exactly what he's doing, but guns. If you run up on someone and you give them directions, I couldn't hear anything. There was no sound on the video, but it seemed like the way that this transpired was a way that would engender what happened rather than prevent it.
Right. Well, we now know again that this police officer, probably shouldn't have been a police officer. But what gets me here again is that the demonization of blacks, Latinos, or even whites that might have had perhaps a sordid criminal past. Right away the law enforcement is usually pretty quick to jump. Well, this is a bad person.
Right.
And here it appears to be no different. But what I see is a lack of empathy for the people here in Cleveland. I mean, today the Attorney General is supposed to step in.
Right.
And I see a lot of similarities between here and Ferguson, where things kind of just lie low until an event happens which brings out that deep-seated hatred, anger, resentment that's been simmering for the longest. And it seems like that's what's going on here, is that the people have suppressed and just gone along with, business as usual
Right,
here with the
right,
police department. They can do what they want. They can fire, hundreds of rounds at a couple and make them
right.
Swiss cheese. And, you go back to doing what you do.
I I don't I don't understand. It seems that there has been a militarization of the attitude of Americans with all these Korea, Vietnam, invaded Grenada, and you've had the first Gulf War, and this second series of wars you had Afghanistan and Iraq, and 9/11 is seared in Americans' minds, and the misinformation about the cause of that, and you have soldiers returning from war has always had a coarsening effect on society. It happened after World War II, after World War I and World War II. After every major engagement, you have soldiers that have been exposed to a lot of things. So you have a coarsening of the culture in terms of language and behavior. And on top of that, we have the imprisonment of huge numbers of people. And that coarsens the society as well, because you have returning prisoners that have been exposed to many, many things and have been treated in a dehumanized way.
All right.
So you have all of these factors within society, and then you have the removal of a large percentage of black males from the black neighborhoods, and then you have the
Throws everything out of whack.
misrepresentation
Uh-huh.
of blacks by the media, and so that many whites are just viscerally afraid of a young black male because of the way that they have been portrayed in the media, and all of this it's a toxic stew, and it can rear its head in ugly ways, and it can cause people to act in ways that they wouldn't ordinarily act.
And as a white man, you see this because you have what they call the white privilege. You can kind of pretty much assimilate onto the golf course, and you're talking about things, and all of a sudden people will probably just open up to you and just start saying things that they probably wouldn't say around other black people.
Well, you have many whites consider the whiteness, I guess, to be a kind of a social club